Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liz and today I have some $1 home decor DIYs. If you want to see those, let's go ahead and jump on in. For this first DIY, I grabbed some scrap wood from my garage. When I say we, I mean my husband, cut it down for me and cut some angles for me on each house. On the two smaller ones, he cut the angles from front to back, and then on the larger house, he cut the angles from side to side. Obviously, you can see here how they're cut. And then one of the pieces of wood had a big crack down the middle, and instead of going out and cutting a new piece, it was much easier for me to just fill it with some spackle, let it dry, and call that a day. So I'm going to start by staining all three of my little houses in my Craft Smart stain in gray. I love this stain because it doesn't stink and it does not stain your hands. Next thing I did was grab some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. Both of these packs are from Hobby Lobby, and I just grabbed two pieces that I thought looked cute together, and I just started out by tracing out the sides of each house because I did want to cover all the sides. I did not want to cover the front and the back. I wanted to leave those the natural wood stained color. So for the sides, I'm just going to take a glue stick and glue my scrapbook paper down to both of those sides. I'm going to set those to the side to dry for a while, and I'm going to go to my bigger house. I took some of my Waverly chalk paint in Lagoon and I started painting it in that, and it was a little bit too blue than what I was going for. So in the end, I did do a little bit of dry brushing with the Folk Art chalk paint in Sage, and I liked that a whole lot better because I feel like it matches the scrapbook paper that I used a bit better. So I'm going to paint my house, but I'm going to leave the top portion unpainted, so it's still going to have that stain on there so it looks more like a roof. And then I am going to go through and distress each of my houses using some sandpaper because I just wanted it to look a little bit more rustic on all the edges. And then for my pieces with the scrapbook paper, I'm just going to take my sandpaper and rub against those sides, and that's going to remove any excess scrapbook paper that I have. And then for the doors of these houses, I'm going to take some popsicle sticks. I'm going to paint them white. These are just scrap pieces that I had. So once those are all painted white, I'm just going to measure them against the house, and then I'll cut off the excess popsicle stick that I don't need. And then I'll just use some hot glue and hot glue my popsicle sticks down to the houses. Now for this next part, I grabbed an Arteza paint pen in white, and I'm just going to start drawing on some windows. Now, the inspiration pieces that I've seen for these kinds of houses, they aren't perfect. In fact, the windows are all kind of different shapes and sizes, and I am no artist by any means, so this part was actually kind of perfect for me because I cannot draw a perfect square to save my life. So I just did as best as I could, kind of went for that messy look anyway, so it kind of worked out for me. But I just started drawing windows on all of my houses, and then I went back in with my Waverly chalk paint in white just to fill those houses in. And then once those are all on there, I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint and ink, and with the back of a paintbrush, I'm just going to continue drawing my windows, just adding those little dots to them. That's going to be all the painting that you're going to do. The last part is just adding in your screw or nail. I should have definitely painted these before I put these in here, but for some reason I like to make things harder on myself. But I just screwed some screws into the top of the houses for a chimney, used my Waverly Wax in Antique to kind of paint them, give them more of a rusty look, and that's it for this DIY.
'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. You can ride all the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run away someday, someday. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you?
If you guys are new here, hey, my name's Liz and I love everything DIY and crafting. If that's something that you enjoy, make sure to click that subscribe button down below so you can become a part of my little crafting family, and then ring your notification bell so you guys can be notified every time that I upload a new video. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, where you guys can stay up to date on my latest craft kits that I sell over on my website. I've been loving seeing your guys' creations with them and how you guys have been finishing them, so keep those pictures coming. It is so much fun to see them in your home and I absolutely love it. So for this DIY, you are going to grab a cardboard box, however big, however small, it doesn't matter, and you are going to grab a fabric of your choice. You're going to cut that fabric into a X or a cross, and you are going to take your box and set it right on top. Now obviously you want to make sure that your fabric is bigger than your box, and honestly I just kind of winged this project. I had it in my head. I didn't know exactly, the correct process to do it. So this is the way I did it. I hot glued my box down. Now you saw in the beginning how I hot glued one side and folded it over. I want to make sure that my sides have clean edges and you don't see any of that raw cut edge. So I'm going to start by hot gluing one of my sides up and around the top portion of the box. Now this side that I'm gluing right here is going to have a raw edge, and what I'm going to do to cover that raw edge is put some hot glue on that folded edge. I will lift that piece up and then hot glue that folded edge around that side, covering the raw edge. It's a little bit confusing trying to explain it, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But I'm just wrapping that folded edge around the corner and hot gluing it down so it covers that raw edge. And you are just going to repeat this process for all four sides. I'll just add some hot glue and hot glue it down on inside. I make sure to pull tight so that all my fabric is nice and taut and there's no wrinkles showing, because obviously my fabric was extremely wrinkly, so I make sure to pull it as tight as I can to get all those wrinkles out. So once again, I'm just going to fold over the edge on one side and hot glue that down, giving me a clean edge. I'll pull it around and hot glue it around the corner, and I repeated that same process for all four sides. And then to make my fabric extra tight, I would add some hot glue inside the box and then pull my fabric down on top of that hot glue like you can see here. Pull it really tight and then hot glue it down, push against that hot glue so it makes that fabric nice and tight on there. Now I'm going to take some of these pop-up stickers and some copper metallic paint by Folk Art, and I am going to give these stickers a couple coats of this paint. It did take about 3 coats to get it all nice and covered up, and I'm going to hot glue them on the sides of my basket, so just 2 per corner. And I love this because I felt like it looked like tacks in there almost, and I just thought it looked really, really cute. So I'm just gonna hot glue 2 to each side all the way around. Now, because my box is a little bit bigger, I did not have enough floral foam to cover the entire box, so I'm just going to take some craft paper. I'm going to put that on in there so I don't have to use as many florals to keep them standing up. I'm going to take some lamb's ear that I got from Walmart. I'm also going to take some eucalyptus that I got from Walmart, and I'm just going to start arranging them in my basket. And then I'll take some of my Sola wood flowers and arrange them in there. You guys know how much I love these. I'm obsessed. Use whatever flowers you want. You don't necessarily have to have these ones, but I think they're gorgeous. If you're ever interested, the link is always in my description box. And that's it for this DIY. That's all you have to do. You have this super cute box basket that you made out of a cardboard box and some fabric. And it literally cost me maybe a couple dollars to make.
Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and sit in you. Call me anytime that you need a friend. And call me anytime when you're at a tight end. I got you, and you got me too. We can always make it through. What we do is what we do. I can take you anywhere, somewhere. We won't be scared. You will see me flying high.
For this DIY, I'm going to take this metal barn cutout that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was $4.99. I got it 50% off, so I paid about $2.50 for this. I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in lacquer. Now, I love the galvanized and metal look to this, but I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to take that red paint and I'm going to paint all around the inside and the bottom portion of this barn. I wanted that traditional barn look, and I honestly don't have anything like that in my home. Everything is very wood and or metal, and I wanted something just a little different to jazz it up a little. So I'm just going to paint this red. Now I make sure to stay away from the top and the sides where the roof is, because I'm going to use my white Waverly chalk paint to paint that. So I'll just take that white paint and go all over the top and the sides for the roof. I thought about leaving it that metal look, but I just thought the white would look really, really cute with this, so I decided to paint that white. Now I'm going to take some popsicle sticks. I'm going to measure out about how tall I need them, and I'm just going to cut those off. So I took two that were the same size. Now I'm going to take one across diagonally from the top of one to the bottom of the other, and I'm going to cut that. I'm going to use this as a door for my barn. I'm going to take another piece and cut a diagonal on each end for the top portion, and then I'm going to paint all of these pieces white with my white Waverly chalk paint. And then I'm going to use some super glue to super glue all of this down. I made sure to lay it out before I super glued it, and even then I still kind of made a messed up. I didn't get it perfectly aligned in the center, but hey, happens when you're crafting. And unfortunately, since it was super glue, it dried super fast, and I couldn't really fix it unless I wanted to tear it apart, and I didn't want to, so I said to heck with it. It looks good as it is. And then I just made a little wreath using some greenery in a vine that I got from Walmart. Rounded it up into a wreath, used some super glue, and glued it to the middle of my barn. And that's it for this DIY.
We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it. Don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you.
For this this last one, this one is really easy. I found one of these lanterns at the Dollar Tree. They had multiple different colors, but I wanted to jazz this up a little bit. I liked that this was already white, and I wanted to make it look a little less plastic and cheap looking. So I'm going to take that ring off the top. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in Elephant and Steel. I'm going to remove the light from the bottom, and then you can also remove the actual bottom piece, which I'll do here in a second. I'm going to grab a sponge, and I'm going to start with my elephant chalk paint first, and I'm just going to start dabbing all around the entire thing. Outside, everywhere that I can get. On the inside, I wanted to make sure that it matched, so I just used a paintbrush and painted all over on the inside so that it wasn't that white color anymore. And then I just kept going around the entire thing with my elephant chalk paint. Now, the fact that it was already white made it so that I didn't have to completely cover up the lantern. I could leave parts of it that white color, which I felt helped the whole galvanized look. And then I ended with my Waverly in Steel, just going right on top of that, doing the exact same thing. I think that this turned out so cute, and it looks so much better than that plastic look to it. I feel like it actually almost looks like a metal lantern, which I think is really cool. And then for the bottom piece on the inside, I just used my steel paint to cover that up. And then to add a little bit extra detail, I took my Waverly Wax in Antique and I went around all those edges and corners, and I just hit those, and then I would take my finger and just kind of blend it in. And I just did that anywhere on the lantern that I felt like it would look good, where it would rust, give it that kind of rust look to it. And I think that added some really pretty detail to it. So after I get it all painted, I just assemble it and put it all back together, and that's it. You have a really adorable lantern that you only paid $1 for.
You had me at hello, 'cause where you go is where I go. I don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. You came right out of the blue. I wanna do what you want to. We can leave and run away someday, someday. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and sit in you. Oh, oh. Call me anytime that you need a friend, and call me anytime when you're at a tight end. I got you, and you got me too. We can always make it through. What we do is what we do. I can take you anywhere, somewhere. We won't be scared. You will see me flying high. I'm staring into your blue eyes. We don't need nobody else. I got you, and you got me too. I've been saving you, and you save me too. Yeah, I need it, don't you need me too? 'Cause I need you. Yeah, so call me anytime that you need a favor. Call me anytime I can come and sit in you. Oh, oh.
And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!